Welcome back to the Road to National series. Today I'm going to take you through a GPP workout, and later in the video I'm going to be talking you through what GPP is, what the concepts behind it are, and why I think that you should be training like this as well. So first things first though, I'll run you through what exercise I'm doing. This is me warming up for my plyometrics. That is how I start all of my GPP sessions. I'm doing just pogo pops here. I did 30 straight and then 30 twisting. I find these absolutely essential at my body weight and the fact that I haven't done a lot of plyometrics or jumping in many years. So I really need to do these to warm up, even though I look so uncoordinated doing them. I know, I am aware that I look terrible doing these plyos, and I mean, look at that. So I start off with these lateral jumps because I have lateral plyometrics programmed here. And then I move on to doing box jumps. I'm doing 16-inch box jumps today. That is as high as my box goes. So I'm going to have to try and find some way of overloading the height in future sessions as well. And it's just 2 inches higher than my previous session. I'm sort of slowly easing myself into trying to jump up on the boxes. I can jump much higher if I wanted. Like I could probably jump at least up on a 20-inch box, but you'll see that in future videos. Then I get on to a stone carry. So it's meant to be some sort of farmer's walk or yoke. But earlier in the week, my first GPP session was meant to be this stone carry. And I did a farmer's walk substitute there because the weather was so bad. So today I actually went out and did the stone carry because it wasn't quite the absolute monsoon that it was the other week, but the weather was still not great. I did get soaked. The ground was wet and it was sort of drizzling. So you'll see that later in the video. And the stone was so slippy. It was so hard to hold on to. And as you're pressing it into your body, it's very unlike a sandbag. It's way harder because it crushes your stomach, and it's really hard to breathe when carrying it. So it's only like a 65 kilo stone, one that I found down the river because I live close to a river. But I've done like 90 kilo sandbags, 100 kilo sandbags before, and they felt way easier than this stone carry. So yeah, don't judge the weight too harshly. It is more difficult than it looked. Then I went on to do hip holds, front hip holds and side hip holds. So I did 2 sets each side. If you don't know what hip holds are, that's sort of just an exercise I've invented. I don't know if it exists anywhere else, but you get a bit of a tibialis raise because you need to activate your foot up, and then you're working on your hip flexors, and your standing glute burns massively. So I just find it a great lower exercise to do, and that's in lieu of sled drags. I haven't got a sled yet, and the only place I really have to do things outside is this patch of grass, and if I tried to do sled drags, I think I'd just tear up all the turf. So through winter I'm probably not going to do them in these GPP sessions, and I'll do things like hip holds instead. And then I end the session off with Captain of Crush grippers. So I do the Captain of Crush number 2 for some reps. So whilst those are playing in the background, I'm going to talk you through, I mean, look how dirty I get here. But I'm going to talk to you about GPP. So GPP stands for General Physical Preparedness, and the idea behind it is that all sports are done with the body. So if you have a better body, you're going to be better at sports. I find it laughable that many sports deny this, sort of like old martial arts. I think it's people who are masters technically in their sport. They just don't want to have to push themselves in the gym and do further accessories, and they sort of stay like, oh no, you're not going to be better at karate if you work out. It's like, yes, you definitely will. If you get way more athletic, you get stronger, you get faster, you're going to be able to perform your sport better. Now, powerlifting is a very physically based sport. The technical element is quite small. The technique is basically just trying to optimize the way that the weight is applied to your body. But generally, the person who's strongest wins a powerlifting competition, and the rules are designed to make it that way. You can't really finagle your way around techniques. People can argue with like sumo deadlifting and stuff that that's cheating, but the technical element of powerlifting is very low. So doing GPP sessions and improving your general physical preparedness is fantastic. Now, A quick note as well, this is really important in childhood. That is the main thing that I would work on. If you have a kid and you want them to be athletic, the reason that some kids just seem to be good at all sports is usually because they tend to be interested in those sports, or their families are active and have got them moving since they were a young age, and they build up great GPP, great general athleticism. You should basically get your kids doing loads of different types of sports. Things like climbing, gymnastics is a very well-rounded sport. You develop so much strength and coordination and dexterity, and you know where you are in space. The only thing it doesn't work on is hand-eye coordination. So if you do some sort of ball sports as well, that can be great as well. They're basically the gold standard of building GPP in kids. But my workouts are basically specified for powerlifting. So I'm trying to just build up some extra work capacity. So what work capacity is basically the total amount of work your body is capable of doing, and doing sessions like this GPP increases your work capacity, which has many benefits. The first one is you recover better from your other workouts because your body is now more conditioned, it's more athletic, it's more generally physically prepared. You're going to be able to recover better from your normal sessions in between sessions, as well as in between actual sets. So if you're doing 2 sets of accessories like I do on most of my accessories, you can actually recover better in between each set. So each of your sessions are going to be more effective, particularly if you do high intensity training like I do. On all of my accessories, I push routinely to failure. Having a better work capacity from this GPP training is going to allow me to recover faster and go basically to failure on loads of sets and still be able to recover from that, as well as recovering in between each session. And then also when it comes around to competition time, in powerlifting you have 3 attempts at your squat, then 3 attempts at a deadlift, then 3 attempts at bench, and then 3 attempts at your deadlift. You've got 9 attempts in total, and you only have about 10 minutes between each attempt to recover. But if your work capacity and GPP is much better, you are going to be better recovered. You are going to be more primed. And really, your third and final deadlift could be the thing that is the main pull to secure your positioning in a competition. You might be pulling for the win. Your third attempts are your heaviest, naturally. That's why you're trying to build up to them. You're not allowed to decrease in attempts in powerlifting comps, so you want to be recovering. You need to recover and have your like warm-up and openers not fatigue you. So that is why work capacity is so important, and you can just do more volume. So you'll be able to train more week on week. It's going to be massively important. So that is the whole point of these GPP sessions. Also for me, I've been working through a knee injury, and I think that's because my body's become less conditioned. So doing like the plyometrics I'm doing at the beginning of this workout has massively helped improve the way my knee feels. It has honestly been magical. So that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all of that good stuff, and have a great day.